This lab activity is part of a three-part series. In this scenario, you are using GIS to help plan a music festival. In Part 1, you downloaded data from public sources to get started. In Part 2, you will use the data to conduct a site suitability analysis to narrow down potential locations to hold the music festival. In Part 3, you will determine the event capacity based on several factors. This demo relates to the GSP 270 lab activity, Music Festival Part 2, Musical Destination. The purpose of this activity is to determine the location of the music festival by conducting a site suitability analysis. The instructions are located on the Humboldt State Geospatial online website. I'll post a link to the instructions in the video description. The first steps in any of these lab activities is to create a basic folder structure. Typically, this will be placed on your local hard drive. On a personal computer, this would be the C drive. If you are in one of the labs at Humboldt State, then it will most likely be the D drive. In this example, I'm using the Downloads folder on my local C drive. I'll start by creating the top-level folder, which should indicate the lab assignment. Within this folder, I'll create 3 subfolders: Original, Working, and Final. Now I'm ready to download the data. In Part 1 of this activity, you downloaded data from a number of public sources. However, I'm sorry to say that you won't be using that data. Data from public sources changes over time. For consistency and to avoid any unforeseen problems during this activity, you will be provided with an earlier version of the data that I know will work. There is also an additional dataset provided containing information about cell towers. On the Humboldt State Geospatial online website, I am currently on Step 2. However, be aware that these numbers sometimes change. Right-click on the Music Festival 2 data link. Select Save Link As, then navigate to your original folder. Save the compressed file inside your original folder. When it is done downloading, repeat these steps for the Music Festival 2 wetlands data. The wetlands data is quite large, so it may take a few minutes to download. Open your original folder. You will see the data saved as compressed zip files. Right-click on each zip file, select 7-zip, then Extract Here. When you are done decompressing the data, you won't need the original zip files. Be sure to delete them. It saves time and prevents confusion later. In ArcMap, open a blank map document. The easiest way to add data is to use the catalog window. You'll typically see the catalog window pinned to the right side of the screen. Just click the button with the yellow file cabinet icon. When you first open the catalog window, you may not see the project folder right away. If you don't see it, you can add it using the Connect to Folder button. In this example, I'm going to connect to the Downloads folder so that it will appear in the catalog tree. Now I can access anything in the Downloads folder right from the catalog window. So what you'll want to do next is click on the plus sign next to the Downloads folder to expand the tree. Navigate to the original folder and just drag and drop the file containing the hydrography data onto your map. It will begin with the letters NHD. Open the layer properties for the NHD shapefile and navigate to the Source tab. Check the spatial reference system. For this analysis, I will be using NAD 83 UTM Zone 10 North. It is important that each of the datasets in the analysis uses the same spatial reference system. Otherwise, you can introduce unwanted error and uncertainty in your results. It looks like this layer is already in the desired spatial reference system, so I won't have to run the project tool for this dataset. Navigate to the General tab and give the layer a more meaningful name. I'll call the layer Rivers. In the next video, I will show you how to check the spatial reference system for the remaining layers, and if necessary, use the project tool to create copies of the data in the desired spatial reference system.